everyone. I'm so happy to have you all again here. Today we are having a guest speaker, and he's gonna be tonight's session's facilitator, who is Mayokun Iyaomolere, who is an environmentalist with over 6 years of experience in promoting eco-friendly solutions and actions. Today, wherever you are from around the world, he is gonna explain to us waste management and innovative approaches to waste management. He will share his experience, his personal experience within his field, as well as he will share different examples and solutions with us. I don't want to take more from his time, Mayokun. I would like to call you on the presentation, and please, yeah.
My name is Mayokun Iyaomolere, and I am an environmentalist from Nigeria. I must say it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Greshma, and everybody on the team for having me, for inviting me. I think I like that I'm speaking to a different kind of audience than I am usually used to speaking with. I mean, I speak with students in hundreds of them. I've addressed different audiences, but this is a new one for me. So I am very happy, very, very happy to be here. And I hope that my very short presentation is able to reawaken our consciousness and involvement in advancing proper waste management. Looking at the nature of the people on this call, from the conversations I've heard you having, I don't think you're new to all of this topic about sustainability and how waste management needs to feed into sustainability. But I'm just going to dive into it right away. So I made a little tweak from the topic. I think I changed waste to approaches. Same. Just another word. So here on my opening slide, you can see a picture in the middle of a mountain of waste, mostly plastic, and you can see around this mountain of waste different kinds of solutions that people are taking to advance proper waste management. So we'll talk more about those in the during the course of the conversation. So please bear with me. I have I don't think I have much of the things I want to say in this slide, so let's just move on from here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to talk about, as guided by what Greshma instructed me to do. So here is an opening slide about the waste management, the waste crisis we have around the world. Oh, now I'm getting blood in my screen, so please, can I just put off my video? Is that fine?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, great. Okay, so I mean, every year we dump this volume of waste, 2.12 billion tons of waste on the planet. And to put this in perspective, sometimes when we're talking about all of these numbers, we are not able to fully grasp them until we give analogies that can describe them in ways that our mind can really wrap around. So so this means this number would equate to putting all the waste in a truck that will go around the world 24 times. So if you have a full-size truck and you fill them with waste and you line them up around the planet's Earth, as big as the planet is, so we would have trucks that will go around the world 24 times, 24 circles of trucks of waste around the planet. So that's the volume of waste that we dump in the planet every year. And sadly, we may not be able to, we may not see them so much in our respective environments, depending on where you are staying though. Maybe if you think about the waste in your environment alone, you may not be able to appreciate that, oh, this is in multiples in other parts of the planet. But improper waste disposal causes, affects the environment in all of these ways and many more. This is not exhaustive. pollutes the soil, air pollution, pollution of oceans, and pollution of groundwater. All of this, the most painful thing about all of this is that the pollution of soil, air pollution, pollution of oceans, pollution of groundwater, now, if you read them in this context, it looks like it's just affecting other components of the environment, other physical parts of the environment. But ultimately, it is coming back to us humans. It is affecting us humans. Imagine staying in an environment or in a location where the soil is polluted with waste, where there's also air pollution, where the water sources in that area are also polluted. I mean, how would we survive that? There will be a lot of diseases, there will be a lot of effect on our health. You ladies are looking so beautiful, and imagine you are staying in an environment where you are having to consume water that is polluted by waste, or you are having to consume food from soil that is polluted by waste. It would have deleterious effect. So ultimately, beyond all of these effects it has on the environment, it comes back to us as humans. And I think that is the biggest the biggest crisis of the whole waste management issues. A very topical issue in the waste management space now is plastic pollution, how plastics find their way into the ocean and pollute the ocean, and how these plastics break down into microplastic. Some do not even break down, but they are ingested by fish and other aquatic animals, and we humans in turn ingest them. There have been researches that found out that found microplastic in the bloodstream of humans and in the breast milk of a feeding mother. So imagine that a breastfeeding mother is feeding microplastic to her kid, or to her children, or to her child. So it's a result of improper waste disposal and poor waste management practices around the world. Sadly, most of these waste management issues are in developing countries and in poorer communities. The Western world, the more developed places have it better. But for the less developed or developing countries, we don't have very efficient systems to manage our wastes, and are therefore exposed to all of these hazards and impacts and effects of improper waste management. Okay, let's just move on from that introduction. So I'll just tell a bit about what I do here. So all of these waste management issues were part of what inspired my starting an environmental organization called Plogging Nigeria Club. So I started this in one university in 2018 in Nigeria. So all of these pictures are from just one plugin exercise. So if you can see me in the same attire in all the pictures, so pardon that. I had to just quickly, initially, please pardon the background noise. So initially I did not have any picture on this slide. I just wanted to speak, but I thought it would be nice. So I just quickly added all of this. So we started this, plugin means jogging and picking liters. For anyone that may not know, so it's a Swedish word. It means jogging and picking litters. Now an English word, and getting into some dictionaries. So plugging is a fun way of cleaning the environment, especially for young people. And the whole essence of it is to rid the environment of waste and also rid our body of waste. So when you are plugging, you are cleaning the environment, and you are also exercising, you are running, you're walking fast, you're dancing. Many times we dance, many times we have marathon exercises. We are even planning an event that is going to come up. It's going to be a 10-kilometer cleanup exercise. So it's going to be a mix of a marathon and cleanup. We are calling it Plugger. So I started this in 2018 in Nigeria, and since then, on one university campus, now we have expanded to over 26 higher institutions in Nigeria. And the beautiful thing is that as we have been able to establish this club in different higher institutions, we are increasing the populace of our volunteers, and we are increasing the number of young persons that come to the consciousness of the need for proper waste management. And when we had the first plugin exercise, we were just 17 volunteers, but right now the organization has over 1,600 volunteers across Nigeria, and most of them are young people. So the beautiful thing, the most beautiful thing in these numbers for me is not the fact that we are just amassing volunteers, is that Many of these volunteers, not all of them, we're human. Some people find it difficult to change even when they are participating in change initiatives, but most of them now have their consciousness aligned with promoting proper waste management. There's a change in behavior, there's a shift in behavior, and beyond even waste management, these people now get exposed to further environmental issues like climate change, climate justice, biodiversity conservation, and all that. But what Plogging does is it helps to open the window of their mind to the whole conversation about environmental sustainability, beginning from the lens of responsible waste management. So Plogging is a fun exercise. We have fun, we play games, we dance, we just do a lot of fun things, especially because we are young people and we want people to continue to be involved in helping to keep the environment clean as much as possible. So I'll just move on from that. So here, still on the waste management issue, I have mentioned how these waste management issues affects the environment and comes back to affect humans. But the true reality is that when there are problems, there's need for solutions. Problems give opportunities for solutions to be created, for solutions to be bettered. And the umbrella word for providing solutions in the waste management space is the word circular economy. I'm sure it may not be new to many of us. And in line with what I've written here, waste management issues that we experience locally and globally has given opportunity for many solutions to come into place. Solutions dealing with recovery of waste, with reuse of resources, and both in the informal and in the formal sector, and reducing all the environmental hazards that are associated and environmental risks that are associated with improper waste management. So circular economy is an umbrella word that captures the whole solutions to waste management crisis, because the essence of circular economy is to make sure that we reduce what becomes waste per time, and we continue to keep items in the production and in the cycle of use, such that we have less volume of things becoming waste. So any efforts that anybody is making, excuse me, to reduce a quantity of waste, or to reduce the quantity of what becomes waste from the point of generation to the point of disposal, falls under circular economy. And here's a way I like to describe circular economy. Circular economy helps us to create wealth from waste. It helps us to get cash from trash. It helps us to get ruby from rubbish, and it helps us to make sense from nonsense. As you can see in some of these pictures, these are plastic wastes that have been converted into seedbeds for these seedlings. And you see this elephant here. Can you guys guess what it is made from? From the picture, can you look more closely?
With metal.
Sorry?
Is it metal?
Yeah, metal. So this elephant was made from metal scraps. And oh, I thought I added the other picture. I have another I have other elephants. There was one project that was completed recently in Nigeria, and an elephant, I think even bigger than this, was made from tires. That's vehicle tires, bike tires, and all that. Very gigantic structure. And so this is what the whole concept of circular economy revolves around. And it does not just sit at this point of recreating waste or repurposing waste. Circular economy also involves policies, it involves conversations, actions on the path in the formal sector, in the public sector that helps to restructure the make them more efficient and better. So that's just a brief. Like I said, I'm just doing an overview of all of this. I'm hoping that we can get to maybe talk more in line of it as the call progresses. So here are some words that are popular in the waste management cycle, in the circular economy cycle. So the most common ones are reduce, reuse, and recycle. So I would like to quickly mention here that many times when people mention reduce, reuse, and recycle, they do so without taking cognizance of the fact that this is actually an order. This reduce, reuse, recycle is actually an order for waste management. So if you think about it, the first, if we are going to manage waste more responsibly, the first point of action should be in reducing the quantity of waste that we generate. I don't know if you guys have given thoughts to this. So, but there's even something that comes before reducing. Now, well, they can work together. There's an R called refusing. So if I refuse to get some items that I don't necessarily need, for example, I'm going to buy something in the store and I get to the store, I'm refusing to take their bag, their nylon packaging, because I mean, this is something I could keep in my pocket. This is something I could just drop in my car as I walk to my car. This is something I could put in my own bag and go home with. I don't need the nylon bag. I don't need the packaging for anything. So if I refuse, then at that point, I'm already practicing more sustainable waste management. So imagine everybody has that consciousness that, oh, if we don't really need this, if there's a way around this, if we can just put this in the car, we don't need the nylon packaging for it, then we are refusing, then we are reducing, because we are refusing, we are also reducing the quantity of items of what gets to become waste. And okay, if there are some items that that necessarily have to be used, and we are unable to reduce in that might, then after we have used these items for the initial purpose, can we find ways to reuse them? Can we find ways to give life back to them? Can we repurpose them? And okay, if we have done that, we still have some wastes left. Can we find ways to recycle this waste? So there's just a hierarchy. So refusing, reducing, reusing, recycling. And some persons even say, after you have recycled and eventually some items still become waste, can you still go further to recover some of those waste items and still find use for them? So so looking beyond these 3 R's, you can see to the right of the screen that there are just many other R's that people have come up with, and that can actually help to push and advance innovative waste management. So some of these R's can even go beyond waste management and can be for the larger environmental management issues. But again, these are just synonyms, but they would have cases where one of these many words would be the perfect word to educate somebody with, or to push somebody with to take action for responsible waste management. I love this image with the R trees so much, and I could just continue to stay. What I usually do sometimes when I come across it randomly in my galleries, I try to pick each of the words, and I'm trying to think of a situation where a word would apply exactly. So I don't know, let me assign that task to you, or maybe when you have a free time, just look at this image on the right and look at regenerate and think, what can we regenerate such that it would be something good we are doing? What can we reconstruct? What can we reestablish? What can we reintroduce that would be a good thing to do for the environment and for waste management? So moving on from that, okay, so here I'm just going to dwell on some of the waste management solutions that I have seen, especially here in my country, Nigeria, and that I think can be replicated in many parts of the world. Sometimes when we hear innovations, we are always thinking of technology. Many people think of technology. Many people are thinking about, oh, what you can do, inventions and innovation. Many people are thinking about, oh, can I invent a machine? Can I make a machine? Can I create a machine that does this, that does that, that eases processes? Sometimes the innovation is just as much as we can do with our bare hands, and there may be no need for any complex systems working together. So these are things that some of the things that people do to advance waste. So I'm going to take it from the top here. Okay, I think I already spoke to this, where you see plastic bottles that are being used to grow seedlings. So that's it's a simple innovation, really. So now this has taken some plastics away from the street, from the environment. It has reduced the quantity of plastic that gets into oceans, that gets into the environment to affect animals. The next one, I'm going clockwise now, please follow me. So the next one, that's supposed to be a map of Nigeria, and that was also made from that was made from electrical waste. If you I don't know if everybody would have access to these slides, but if you get them, you can zoom in. So that was made from electrical waste, from panels, motherboards, phones, laptops, and other electrical systems. So I had to include that here. I find it very intriguing. Then we already saw the elephant made from metallic waste. And here there's after the elephant, still going clockwise, there's a picture of people after a cleanup exercise. Now that's a picture from one of the cleanup events we had, I think in 2019. And it's just, I love it when young people come together to take this kind of action. I mean, it may be like a very common action, it may be like a very regular action, but it really takes beyond the ordinary for you to go out there and go and pick up trash that is disposed by other people. I mean, it's not your trash, but it's your planet. So it's beautiful to really see people that can come out and do this. And that in itself is an innovation, because when people participate in activities like this, they get a reorientation. And if somebody before they participate in a cleanup is somebody that usually discards waste irresponsibly, after participating in an activity like this, there's high tendency that they will stop doing that. And the next thing here that I have at the 6 o'clock of the center image is their bags, and there's a laptop bag there, there's a notepad, there's a handbag, and these items are made from, there's something in Nigeria where we have this water packaged in sachet, in nylon sachets, and we call them pure water. That's what we call them. So these are one of the most notorious waste we have in Nigeria, and you can find them practically everywhere in Nigeria. It's very easy to get. You're going by the road, just stop and buy one, and when people consume them, they just drop them in drainages, drop them on the floor. So it's it's a very, very notorious waste in Nigeria, and somebody picked this up and started weaving them into textile. So these items are made from materials from about 70% of nylon waste and 30% fabrics. And she uses them to make different items, school bags, she uses them to make shoes, she uses them to make even clothes, gowns that people wear. So it's very beautiful to see, and it's another wonderful innovation. And the next one is plastic bottles in, this does not capture the full image, but this is a way of harvesting plastic bottles. So structures like this have started becoming popular in many parts of Nigeria and in Africa. When people see platforms or structures like this, and they get a nudge to drop their plastics, their waste inside them rather than just disposing them indiscriminately. And that's a picture of another young man in a cleanup exercise all by himself, persons. And the final one there, if you look more closely, it's also a kind of waste bin, and the bin says, "I am hungry, feed me your plastic bottles." So it's simple, but it's something that appeals to people. I was the project manager for this project. We executed this project across 4 universities in Nigeria. And with that caption, with that chat that the bin is having with people, when people are passing, they would want to interact with the bin. So we call them talking waste bins. People are just intrigued by that caption of "I am hungry, feed me your plastic bottle." So I mean, this is something that is getting somebody not to drop a plastic bottle on the floor, but actually disposing them in a proper bin that gets emptied from time to time. So that counts as an innovation, also a simple one, but something that is actually nudging people to develop more proper behavior. These are some of the things. This is inexhaustive. There are many other beautiful waste management solutions out there. But I just brought only this for the scope of this conversation. And if you want to have better insight into all of this, which I really encourage everybody to do, I have some links here, and these links will take you to some of these beautiful works, and some of them I did not also show. So the first one is from my organization, Plogging Nigeria. You can see what we do. Recently, we completed a project where we had a fashion show we made dresses that were made from waste, from nylons, from plastic bottles, from newspaper waste, from carton, from bottle covers, from coconut shells. We had a 3-part series event. We had a trash on exhibition, we had a trash on parade, and we had a traction runway where we had an actual runway with people dressed in attires that were made from waste. It's on our pages and you can see them. There's EcoBata. They make they empower people they empower local women with recreating waste. There's Planet 3R. They are the ones that make bags and shoes and all of that with textiles. Then there's the Waste Museum. This is the first waste museum, I think globally, actually. It would really intrigue you. I really encourage you to go through all of these pages. And there's this PACAM. It's a tech-enabled solutions that helps to improve waste collection systems. Then there's Precious Plastic. Precious Plastic is doing amazing work with repurposing waste into items that even things we have not thought of around the world. So you should really check them out. And there's Free Recycle. These guys use tires to make tiles, to build houses and all of that. And there's the Upcycle Architect. So these are just some of the things, some links that you could really check through for inspiration and to see the work that people are doing innovatively to address waste management issues. And I'm concluding already. So this I think is the most important part of this conversation. So it's just one waste, said 8 billion people. So the source of that quote is it's just one waste. So we have a population of over 8 billion people on the planet right now. And if everybody is saying it's just one waste, it does not really count. 8 billion people are holding a waste, and if the 8 billion of us discard waste at the same time, and we are saying it's just one, it amounts to so many wastes that becomes serious. Hello guys, can you hear me? I got disconnected on my other device. I told you that we are out of power here, so my system just went off. Apologies for that. So like I was saying, it's just one waste, said 8 billion people. So when 8 billion people dispose indiscriminately, it becomes 8 billion waste, and that becomes so much. And we begin to see it in a different light that, oh, really, it's not just one waste, it's all of our waste. So in that same vein, from what Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of people can create change, can make a difference. Indeed, it is the only thing that has actually caused differences to be made in the way the world is run, in the way the world operates. So in the same vein that we have mentioned that 8 billion people are saying individually that is just one waste. What if 8 billion people at the same time decide that, oh, today I am going to take action, I'm going to dispose my waste responsibly. Now that is 8 billion actions at one time. And pockets of people here, pockets of people there that are acting together, that are working together. It's efforts like this that really counts, from local corners around the world and have a global impact. So in the same vein that actions from one person may not seem significant, but when we combine the whole, it becomes so huge. It's also in that same vein that actions from individuals, when they are taken positively for the benefit of the environment, would amount to so much good that we are doing at the same time. So it behooves on all of us here to start pushing all of this, to push more conversations around waste management. And now everybody may not be able to make items from waste. Everybody may not be able to make elephants from waste. Everybody may not be able to, make wastes, make bags from plastic bottles. Everybody may not be able to build houses from waste. Everybody may not be able to build a museum from waste. But one thing that everybody can do is everybody can talk about the problem. Everybody can manage their waste. Everybody can dispose their waste more responsibly. Everybody can reduce what becomes waste in their hands, and everybody can continue to talk about it. Everybody can continue to educate other people about it. I have in the development space, I've been hearing a lot recently that we keep talking, and we are not seeing so much action. But I differ in the sense that talking is the beginning point for action. If nobody talked, perhaps all of us on this conversation would not have this, or be seeking this sustainability mindset that has brought us together in this conversation today, if nobody talked about it and helped us come to the consciousness of it. So one thing I would like everybody to take away from here is that as we are acting in our respective corners to manage our own waste more responsibly, we should also continue to push conversations around it that would help other persons come to the consciousness, and would be strengthening the might of different persons from different parts of the world who are acting at the same time to push a good narrative or push for change in the waste management space, and help to bring in new and better solutions as against the status quo, how we have been managing waste around the planet. Once again, thank you very much for having me. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I do not take it for granted, and I hope that you were not bored. I hope you were not bored, and I hope that you had something to pick from that. Thank you guys very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mayokun, for this amazing presentation. Really, you're a person to admire. Your work is really inspirational. And I really like the quotation you shared earlier, which was, sorry, I wrote it somewhere here. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. These are really powerful words. So, Greshma, I was thinking that maybe we should stay in this main room and perhaps pick up the questions here, as we are a small group. If you let me, I'll start with the first question, or would you like to ask the first question?
You can go ahead and
I'll start. Okay,
so we can stay here and have more fruitful discussions here.
Perfect. Okay, I'll just thought that it will be better if we have the questions in front of us, because some of the questions are linked to each other. Maybe we can just have a discussion rather than question and answer around the questions that were shared. Let me just share my screen quickly. Here it is. Hopefully you can see them. So we're not going to have the breakout rooms, but we'll just see the questions here. So Aparna, I'd like to start with you so we all can share. So looking at the questions, it would be great to share perhaps within your community or within your household, or in India. I know that you are passionate about this topic too. What are the mostly generated waste that are from your community, from your household, or why you think that is a waste problem, and also how that type of waste contributes to the climate change within your region or within your community.
Well, there's two things. First of all, thank you. That was a really good presentation. It was very inspiring to hear about a lot of things that was being done. So regarding the question against waste type, I was actually thinking more along like in difference between the kind of waste that's being generated for me living in Scotland and having lived in India. To be frank, back home, I think the most what I can think of as waste is electronic waste right now that's being generated most at home. Like I know, I know, like we have like a box of just like old phones and dead laptops that are just lying there at home in India, which obviously we can't just throw them dispose them in the regular this thing. Like we have no idea what to do with it, because when it comes to we thought of possibly reselling, but then data protection becomes an issue, because like crash laptops you haven't extracted, you have old photos and stuff like that. We're still debating. Like every time we go back home, we are like going through, okay, maybe this is something we can try. And I think there is a big issue there right now with the way people are going through technology. Everybody's getting new and newer phones. Like I think I've increased the frequency. I think I recently bought a new phone, and my last phone was bought in 2019, I think. Whereas before that, it has been at least 5 or 6 years before I changed my phone. I think the rate at which we change our phones, because I think they're building them like that as well. Like you're forced to buy new phones because it just stops working efficiently after a while. And so you kind of have to, I think we have close to like 5 phones that are just like dead phones at home that we've just put in a box because we have no idea what to do with that. So I think there has to be a very transparent solution, I think, especially when it comes to electronics, because electronic devices have so much sensitive data in them. You don't know who can do what with the data. If you, at least we've not polluted it so far, we've not disposed them at all, so it's just sitting in a spare box in our home, like in the storage area. So it's still waste, but at least we know where it is and it has not gone into environment. But I've seen people, I've passed dump yards and things where people have just thrown like broken electronics everywhere. And the problem, of course, being it has so much harm to the soil and water, because you've got all these different, sorry, just a second, I have to plug in my laptop. It's just going to go out of charge in a second. 1 second. Oops.
It's actually a very big issue what Aparna was saying. I'm trying to use more and more secondhand stuff, or give my old ones as a secondhand stuff. So basically, I actually don't like calling it secondhand. It's kind of like finding a new home to my what I used, what I loved using, but I'm just giving it to someone else to love it and use it. I don't like throwing away stuff.
In England they give a name called pre-loved stuff, pre-loved things.
Pre-loved, yeah. No, but again, it's fine, at least if it's working. It's just like a completely crashed laptop. Like nobody, even like when we tried to get it like fixed, he said, really, I think it's more expensive to fix this. It's cheaper to just buy a new laptop, is what the guy said to us. So that's the status as well, so it's like really, like, I'm sure we've have done that though. Like some phones, like when we thought, okay, like there's like, especially during COVID, when you had a lot of schools were going digital, and a lot of kids who didn't even have phones couldn't attend classes. Then like, okay, we said, you can wipe the phone clean and donate it to somebody, give it to hand those out, that work. But still, I think like I do see like these and they leak out stuff, but like if they're just thrown, like especially with batteries, that's such a big issue. I mean, here, I see now lots of places have been collecting batteries, but I'm not really sure what they're doing with the batteries though after they are collected. Like, I'm not sure how it's being disposed, or what sort of treatments they're going through. So that's what I meant when I said particularly about transparency, because you don't want to dispose these places without knowing where where it's going to go next. How are they just taking it all and then dumping it in a separate place far away from your eyes, so you don't, it's because some of these electronic waste disposal is just sort of out of sight, out of mind solution, it feels like. If it's not in your eyesight, then it's you believe that it's been disposed safely, but you're not ever sure. And I think that it would help personally if people say they're providing waste recycling solutions, that they tell us how it's being done. But that's electronic waste, which is something that has to be really brought about. And to be frank, I think I even brought this up at one of the previous thing. My personal issue with waste disposal in Scotland is just the plastic bags you get veggies in. I think I brought this up, and I don't know if it was the same thing. It's something I go everywhere. It just annoys me so much. Every time waste management comes up, that's what I think about. All your carrots and potatoes, all that, the plastic bags that it comes in. It's so much waste, unnecessary waste. Just let people pick how much vegetables they want, put it in their bag and bring. And it's not even recyclable plastic. I mean, I have a plastic recycling bin. I can't even put it in that because it's not recyclable. But yes, I'll finish my rant there. So that it contributes to a lot in the climate change, obviously, plastics and the electronic waste. Yeah.
I would have one more question to you before leaving you. So I believe that you don't think that recycling is the best solution in the end, after all what you said.
No, I'm not saying recycling is not the best solution. What I am saying is that sometimes it's only okay. I think I don't know how true or otherwise it is. There was some other, like a seminar or something I once attended, where they said, like, a lot of places they say a lot of companies will say they're recycling it and they take it away. Nobody discloses their recycling process, and what they do is they end up shipping the waste to some other country where, you know, the policies are not really strict. The government, this thing like trade issues, or the country is not in a good situation or something, or some islands, tiny islands that nobody knows about, and they go dump the waste there. They say that's recycling basically. And when I heard that, I was so shocked, because I'd completely trusted these. It was like a big change for me in terms of, you know, nobody really told me that this is what, like, I didn't realize that when I honestly thought I was helping by recycling. But when there is no transparency sometimes with private companies who undertake recycling processes, and if just to know that at least there is some audit going into how the process is being handled. Like, they cannot just claim that they're doing recycling and go dump it somewhere and, you know, not actually give any proof. That was my issue. That is my basic issue, essentially, that it's that, do you have any substantial claims to that you're genuinely, you know, putting it through. There are loads of companies that do that. They're very transparent about, you know, the fact that, okay, what we are doing is we are gathering. I can't remember. The other day I saw this video on LinkedIn about a company, and what they're doing is they filmed it as well. Like, they showed like clips of what they were doing. Like, they were collecting, it was in India, I think, plastic bottles, and then they put them through a process of some sort of cleaning, and then they were being donated to, like, given to some artisans to do, like, you know, artwork and things like that. So they told the story behind what was happening with those plastic bottles that they were collecting. You know, they were not going and dumping it in some forest in some remote part of the country. So those companies which has some sort of substantial proof, you can trust them. I just think it has to be thought about, that made sure that all the anybody who's claiming to do recycling, like large companies especially, there has to be some sort of audit or some transparency, or at least, I'm not saying to me particularly, but to somebody out there hopefully knows that it's being honestly dealt with.
No, I agree with you. It's kind of, you think that you are doing a good job, but then when you found about all of this mountain, you regret recycling. And Mayokun, I just want to direct you the question: do you know what happens to the battery waste? Because that has been a question in my head too. Maybe you experienced it, or you know something more. To battery waste management or recycling batteries. Because I do that too. I do collect all of my batteries, and whenever I see a battery recycling point, I do dump them there, but I really don't know what they do, really.
Okay, yeah, hi again, guys. I'm absolutely enjoying the conversation, and I like the sincerity of thoughts that we are having. I mean, many times when we are on platforms and we are talking about environmental issues, many persons are just acting like saints or talking like saints, like even the solutions or some supposed solutions are not causing actual problems. So I liked that we are talking about how some of these systems are not functioning as they should be. So for battery waste, there's still a lot of issues around that, and many producers of batteries are still trying to find the best means to handle it. But one thing that happens, I know that
We lost. Could
yeah,
you please
they are used for.
Mayokun, because we couldn't hear you for a second.
Can you hear me?
If that's okay. Now we can hear you, yes.
Can you hear me, please?
Now we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you?
yes, we
Okay.
hear you now.
Okay. Okay. So I was saying that for batteries like that, the content of the batteries, they're usually toxic. So sometimes they are depending on the capacity of the batteries, they are used to make smaller batteries. So a car battery, for example, after it has been spent and no longer functional for a car, may still be good enough to power some other low-level devices. So sometimes they just step them down to make this kind of devices. Sometimes they feed the waste, the chemicals from those, they feed them into making some other, they break them down, try to extract some parts of it to make some other kinds of chemicals. But there's still the part of them being disposed indiscriminately in the environment, especially in many water bodies far away from where people reside. But the thing about water is it's eventually just causes everything to just want to be sure you're hearing me. Everybody's frozen on my screen.
We can hear you, yes.
I think we lost him. Maybe we can move with next.
Maybe. Hello, Hajer. Thank you for joining us. We are just discussing about waste management. If you wanna, are you available? Like to share with us?
Thank you so much for the very nice talk, and I can hear, but I'm sorry, so I don't know, I was quite late before, so I just came from another city.
No problem. Okay. So no problem. Okay. But you are listening to us. So I'll continue with Nelly. Would you like to share your thoughts, Nelly?
Can you repeat the question, if you don't mind?
So the question is the waste type of waste that you have within your community or within your region or your country or within your household, actually, you know, what you think is the type of waste you are facing daily and you think that is being problematic, and there's a contribution with that to the climate change, and what do you think would be a good solution to that?
Thank you so much for this moment. In our countries, there are many plastic waste, and I think that this is a big problem in their sea, because it pollutes the lake, and there are many pollution in our country.
I think we have that issue everywhere at the moment. So I relate.
Where are you based, Nelly?
Yes.
Actually, I was going to talk, but I just got lost. So, yeah, it is true. The problem, I said, in my country, because of the war now, we don't know what is happening. There's a lot of waste and a lot of problem, especially with the plastic and other things. And those actually, the solution is that, like, people, they should use like a recycling bag, you know, like the ones made from like from hello.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, the one is not actually can made from Australia, and also they can use the material like what we have in back home, like a sack, and like a sack which is made from actually straw, and some of them is made like from the ropes, which they make the rope from it. That is washable, and also it is most environmental material. That is, my opinion, should be used. And in some villages in my country, especially from the west of Sudan, Darfur, people, they are very, very environmental, and they're very caring for the environment. So they use the water in a manner way, but all the toxic things they have for the environment, burning the tree and the wood, you know, burning the tree and the wood. That is other issue they have, and it is not healthy for the eye and not healthy for the environment. But now I think there is reduction, because people now they start using the gas and using the other method, which is more friendly, but not everyone actually.
Thank you for sharing, Hajir. There are ways that we think we are handling it correctly, but then there are no resources to do it in a correct way sometimes. For example, I'm facing a lot everywhere, wherever I am. When I go to supermarket, all the vegetables you can find, they are in plastic packaging, which you cannot even recycle. And there is no other option that to get it in in an open way. So you can select your vegetable, you can take it in your carrier bag rather than using a plastic bag or recyclable bag that they have. Because I don't want to recycle. I'm coming with my own carrier bag there, but there is no option. I know that many big supermarkets, they started being more sustainably friendly, but there are some that they think they are contributing with just putting a recyclable carrier bag, but it's actually, there are so many people nowadays, they don't want to recycle, and I'm trying to be one of them. Greshma, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm also having the same feeling with Eda and Abarna, like about how the plastic wastages are coming up. And also whenever I talk about plastic or any kind of waste, I also talk about marine, like how it affects our marine system, and all the plastic or all the waste are going out to the marine like disturbing the marine ecosystem. So so we really need to be very careful, like, and also when we taking care of any kind of waste, we have to really think about all kind of life forms. So like it's actually we like people have to take the responsibility while disposing the waste, and also like even the recycling, like when we give out the plastic waste to the people who came to collect, we think, okay, this will be like recycled in the proper way, but we really don't know like what happened after that. Especially in Kerala, we have like I'm from Kerala, and we have like green barriers who come like monthly to our home and collect the waste. But after that, we can see like these plastics are are kept in one building, but we don't see the proper kind of recycling with the same plastic. So so still like we have to reach still it's a long distance for a proper waste management and for proper recycling things. So I think we have to be like make the system more accountable, and we have to really track how this process are going out. So we really need some kind of system, and I feel like maybe I don't know like whether any other countries having those kind of tracking system, like when we give out a kind of plastic waste to the people, like then is it possible for us to know like what's really happening? Because yeah, we really need to ensure like what happened with this, and we really need to ensure like all life forms and all ecosystem has its own like they are having their own rights actually. Like when we know like how the marine system or how the fish affects the life of others, or even the microorganisms, and especially about corals, like how it affects other forms. Yeah, I can see Abarna's hand. Abarna.
So nothing, it was just something you said, and like I was wondering, there are so many practices that different countries do. That is why, this sort of like, how here we have so many people from different countries now coming together to discuss these questions. We learn so many things about what different countries are doing that is just very normal to that particular country, but for somebody else it could be a really good solution to minimize a particular waste. For example, like um uh, uh, as you were saying, Eda, about the vegetables in the non-recyclable plastic bags. In India, we don't have that issue because supermarkets just leave the fruits or vegetables there and you just pick how much ever you want. I'm sure, maybe, I don't know if it's the same with Greece or something. It was a very new thing when I came to the UK. I thought maybe it's just my local supermarket, but every supermarket I tried to go to, I think the only place was this place. It was this shop, this like an organic shop or something like Locavore. That was the only place I found where they didn't have it like pre-made packets and I could actually pick it. But it's like way somewhere I just stepped in when I visited that place to visit some friends. So I have no way of shopping there, like, on my regular basis. It's not like it's my local shop or anything that can do. I think it's only like the um, organic stores or something that are just keeping vegetables like that. And I don't understand why the supermarket, it's a cheaper solution for them. They actually don't have to pay for the extra plastic to and spend time weighing out vegetables and leaving it like that. In fact, summer they do that for carrots and potatoes for some very weird reason. Maybe the packets break and that's what they do. I don't understand it. It's a very absurd thing to me. But maybe um, and I don't know if there's some way that in the UK somebody could be approached to say, this is such a simple thing. Why can't we just leave the things without? I mean, I understand some things have to be sensitively packed and stuff because for preserving and keeping the sanitized quality of the food, but that, yes. But if there's something which can be avoided having, like, I'm sure you can't just leave raspberries for that, it would all go mushy, I suppose. But just there could be a thinking around why can't it just be and this is just one solution. I'm sure most other things, but I'm wondering, is there some sort of communication between countries regarding these very simple practices that some countries have that others don't have, that's going on? Yeah, think with Natalia.
Oh, I just wanted to say, like, so one point is the plastic bag. If like, can we reduce it? Like, and there are some practices that some countries actually reduced it already. But there is another thing is that I just wanted to raise. Actually, there is a food waste. For example, the big supermarkets actually they throw a lot of ready to or like good to go or good to eat products of fruits and vegetables only because they are not good looking and stuff like that. So again, like, just one thing is the plastic that we're talking about, but there are another one is just actually the whole system, how all of this like big how does it, like supermarkets, or like
Yeah,
how the industry operates. And actually, so yeah, and I think it's, so we have this question, the second question, and I think it goes down to actually that there is a need to change the system, how we like the ecosystem around the whole thing of like consumption in general. It's like, so we have this food waste, we have this clothes that's we produced in an amount actually not like people cannot even wear it, and it's also dumped. It's not only plastic, but it's just like clothes that's already dumped somewhere in some countries, and it's also enormous amount of it. And so yeah, anyway, it's just like, I guess it goes down to that every country governments, like it's my take, I will always blame the system, so probably maybe I need to take ownership as well. But I would say that big corporation, and that's what, like when we were studying sustainability, that's how, like through all research that was done, we were like, all the blame that it goes down to the consumers, and like the big corporation, they actually put it on the shoulder of consumers, and they say like it's you to blame. But actually, who started in the first place to do all of this kind of packing stuff in a lot of like plastic or like packaging? Do we really need it and stuff like that? So anyway, it's just, I guess we need to, like all together come and actually think. Even like the good solution that's Mayokun showed. Yeah, maybe it will be great to actually upcycle it, or like repurpose the materials. And some of my friends actually run here in UK, in London, concept called, it's like circular hub. And actually the idea is that to use materials that company, like industries, are not using, or like whatever company. So for example, you have leftovers of papers or scraps of wood, and they connect this organization with creative fields, with universities where crafts stuff happening, like where the students need the material to do their work. And like, so anyway, you see, it's another kind of innovative solution. So why won't we build this circular regenerative system? So where we, instead of just dumping stuff, we can repurpose them and call them not just waste, but materials, even if it will be the, I don't know, piece of cloth or anything. So anyway, it's just like my 3 cents that I wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
so when Aparna shared about this plastic thing, and I was thinking about the advocacy. So also, like as part of this project, we are also developing kind of action books and brainstorming, like how can we how can we act, like not just having these conversations, but how can we practically implement some kind of action. So I was also thinking like how can we do this advocacy part, or reaching out to the your local governments and bring like informing them we really want to change this and bring some kind of action towards it, like informing them or making some kind of change. And also I'm wondering, is there any policies or any particular department like environment department in UK working on it? And also like I'm wondering, is single-use plastics are still allowed in UK or it's banned? So it's actually my questions to people who are living in UK.
I think it's still here. But talking about sustainability departments in Europe, they accept it. I don't know much about it. Probably right now I just raised the thing, and those who know, maybe they can add. So every company is, there is a criteria that every company right now judged on or measured their success on. They call it like ECG standards. So which is like environmental, no, I forgot what is E, based like sustainability and governance. So actually they kind of grade them for these points as well. So it seems like there is regulations that is imposed there, and it's slowly every company trying to change slowly, like towards being more sustainable, being more eco-friendly kind of, and contributes in a better ways.
Actually, what you were saying, Natalia, about the waste of the produce like fruits and vegetables that were being thrown, even though actually I don't think I've seen this in any of the city one, like main Glasgow city ones. I live a little in the suburb areas. My local supermarket, this is something very recent. I think maybe 2 months ago is when I started noticing it's still happening. They have this basket after the checkout counter, and they have a board there, past date but still good to eat. So basically anything like vegetables or fruits that on the label they've gone beyond the expiry date, what they've done is they've taken off that packaging and the dates, and they've put it in like a big basket, all the different vegetables. They've left it after the checkout counter, so if you think it looks okay enough, you can just take it for free and at least make some use out of it. So that is, I think
but behind this scene, actually, it's a huge amount of goods to go food is wasted, because it's just like you can check it out, and many like so for example, there are examples here in UK. The big thing, like every country I think might have it. So what they do is actually the small organization, non-profit organization, they reach out to they actually help these big corporations, like big food chains, take whatever is like ugly food that they have and share it with like vulnerable communities, and or prepare food which is like you can either like buy cheaply, or even like you can come and claim like for food. So again, it's just like it's good to know, and those who know actually they took some actions.
Actually I was doing like this event during like last year during Refugee Week in like the southern, it's called the Dumfries area, so of Scotland. So that's like close to the England-Scotland border. And we were doing this at this place. It's called the Multicultural Center. So it's where they do like activities for the local refugee and asylum seekers population. And what that center has done is they've partnered with the local Tesco, and anything that's close to date and they know won't sell out within a few days, like bread, vegetables and all that, the Tesco works with the Multicultural Center to bring all those items and keep them at the center. So the people from the refugees and asylum seekers who come to that place, to do activities, they can see it. And it's not very openly kept in Tesco, so they feel a bit, like taking the free thing from the supermarket. Sometimes people feel like, they don't want to expose that they would find it valuable, but then they've left it here and anybody can come and take it from like outside at the Multicultural Center. So you can just bring a bag and grab some free stuff and take it. And it was very nice. We had done this right around the time a lot of the Ukrainian refugees had come into Dumfries, and I thought it was a very nice initiative that the Tesco, that rather than just do it by themselves, they've gone into partnership, like you said, with like the community centers and things like that in the local area to make sure that some nice this thing. And a lot of produce didn't even look bad. It just looked like a lot of the vegetables and things, they actually look pretty fresh as well. So it's not like they put it much after the date or anything like that. And it was a lot of things. Like there was like a massive room with things there. So it was quite like it was not like 5 potatoes as 2 packets of bread or anything like that. It was a lot of quantities, and they were being quite generous about it as well. So I thought that was a very good initiative that Tesco decided to do. So
but I think you see, like coming back to what Greshma said, and I think it goes down to advocacy, right? So it's like it's not only that Tesco done it. Probably the organization reached out to Tesco and said, like, how about we will cooperate, because you have this issue, what to do with the food that you will just probably waste. And again, it's just like that's an innovation that could come, like we can come up as like community, right? So it's just I guess if we will have more initiatives coming like from us as like faith communities or just citizens, I think that's what like we should be ready to take action, because all these big organizations, all the local councils and so on, they actually, yeah, they have budget. There are ways how we all can cooperate together. So yeah, just what we can do, like it will be great actually if we even like in EcoPeace Café here, we can come up with some what kind of action we can take, like what will be great to do, and if we will kind of brainstorm together and then build the initiative and then reach out to all these local teams. So again, it's just like, I think, yeah, we need to be more proactive in this matter. And advocacy, it's a good way to start.
I would like to invite Mayokun to share his thoughts after all of our discussion, because I know that we are approaching towards the ending. I know this conversation could go on and go on, because it's really painful, isn't it? That you want to do something, but then you see the big manufacturers calling to be sustainable, right? But then when you see in practice, it's completely different, and you are like, how does this work? But is mass production behind of it, is having big populations, I believe, is behind of it. And us being bad consumers, I believe, is the kind of infrastructure of this failing system, which I believe, again, like each of you mentioned, there has to be a wake-up call, or a better system, or tougher system, actually. When there are like forbidden stuff, people then start kind of paying attention to it. I think we need to be a little bit more tough in this, because we don't need to invent something new. I know that technology is developing and everything, but looking back, when we look back to our like 2 generations back, like our grandparents, the way that they were living was very, very simple. They were, okay, they had the time to produce their own, perhaps vegetables, perhaps their own food. But then what they were doing was they wouldn't even have a really big package of bin pack at the end of the day, because what they would do would be they would use all the skins from veggies or different stuff that they would consume, and it would go back to their gardens, or they wouldn't use so many packaging because they didn't have that, so they would use different bags or packaging that they would have sewed and prepared. Not everything, but some of the things, because the understanding of living simple life has changed dramatically to the way that living lazy life. I think we shouldn't be too lazy anymore. Kind of, buying lots of food and then in the end wasting everything. Not only food, also clothes. Like maybe having bit more simpler life, not having everything but some things which you would love to use, rather than having them dumped after a year or so. Mayokun, please take the floor and have your reflection, I guess, because we've been reflecting last 40 minutes, half an hour. And if there are any questions to Mayokun, please just raise your hand and ask. Mayokun, are you with us? I think I will come back to you, Greshma, and
yeah, but Yeah, actually, like now it's the time for ACT. Like after having all these conversations, it's yeah, as I mentioned, like it's time to act, and let's do the advocacy together, and also with RfPUK, like I hope like from all of us we can contribute a lot, and not just in UK, like, but globally we can take initiatives and bring more people together on this initiative. So especially like when we discuss about the innovative ways of waste management, we just heard like how Mayokun from Nigeria taking actions, and he's not just talking, but he's actually showing us how to take actions. And he also shared that when he started the initiative, he just how 2-digit like volunteers are like 2-digit, and now it's like more than 1,000 volunteers are with him. So when we start the game, we will get more people to play. So let's start. And yeah, UKIYN-EcoPeace Cafe will give like more opportunities to discuss and also to act. So please stay tuned with us, and we have one more session in this stage that will be on gender equality on this Friday. So please join, and also please bring your friends and your youth members from your community to these wonderful conversations and be the change. Thank you, and over to you, Ida.
Thank you so much for joining us again. I think that's a very nice wrap up with you, Greshma. I would be keen to wait for our guest speaker today to join us, but I think he's having a problem at the moment. And what I'll do, I'll email him and thank him on behalf of us. Thank you again so much.